All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the End to the Internet podcast. It's been a few years since we've done this. It's a new year. Thought we'd try it out again. Get back into it. I've got my new co-host with me, Cold Beer. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I am good. Like you said, I'm glad we're doing this and trying this out again. I've known Cold Beer for 7 to 8 years now. We met in 2017, back when PUBG was first popping off and it was going crazy. We met with a big group of friends and we've been playing games ever since and kind of become pretty close over the years. So,
You son of a bitch.
do you remember the old days of PUBG that, like I said, back when it used to be super clunky?
You mentioned clunky.
Whoa, he lands it, boys. He lands it.
And I
Yeah,
agree. It is clunky. But that's what made it good.
that
Same
is.
thing with DayZ. That's what made it good.
Now that they fully released, it's not fun anymore.
Yep. That's my take.
Exactly. But it's going to be probably about a week into the new year by the time this gets posted. But we wanted to discuss our top games of 2024 and our top upcoming games of 2025. We've got a lot of really good big games coming out next year. But we want to just kind of discuss some of the games that we had a lot of fun with last year. So for my number 5 game of 2024, we have Black Myth Wukong. I still haven't actually officially played this, but it's been extremely well received, and I know I shouldn't just put a game on the list because it's well received, but it is a Souls-like game, and me and Cold Beer here are extremely big Souls-likes fans. It's extremely well received. It has really good graphics, clearly. I would really need to be playing it soon, but I'm going to put that at number 5. It will be played here soon. I know you've actually played Black Myth Wukong. Like I said, what are your thoughts on it? How did you like it?
I actually got to play it. Black Myth Wukong. I played it on release.
Mm-hmm.
Fun game. It's a beautiful game. It's also on my list. Surprisingly enough, it's on a lot of people's list. It was a really good game. See, the reason it's in my list, well, not only was it positively received by a lot of critics, but I don't think 2024 was the strongest year for gaming. There, I said it. But that game it's worth the play. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice story, and it plays beautiful. It looks beautiful. What else do you want?
Exactly.
It felt a lot of people used the word boss rush when they were describing it, and I agree. It's mainly from boss to boss with small exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the bosses are challenging, but nothing like a nice Elden Ring game or a FromSoft game. You don't lose progression as you die. You just keep trying again. So in some aspects it is harder just because you're gonna have to go back to back from boss to boss, but at the same time you just keep retrying and there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, you don't have as much of a punishment for your death as you do in like Souls likes and losing
Right.
your runes and stuff like that. Yeah, like I
Alright, well,
said,
what else you got on that list?
Black Myth Wukong's definitely next on my list to play in terms of games. The next list on my top games of 2024
Have you ever had a dream that you
is going to be Silent Hill 2, which is, like I said, a remake. It came out in the late 90s, but is still a really, really good horror game. I haven't beaten it yet, but it is just extremely. I love horror games. It's definitely got a Resident Evil feel to it, but it's much harder. The puzzles are harder. The enemies are much harder to kill. It's not like just kind of unloading bullets on them. Your bullets are very scarce. You have to make every bullet count. You have to make every shot count. And have you played it? Have you watched anything on it? Do you have any thoughts on Silent Hill 2? You're not a big horror game guy, are you?
I'm not a big no. I like games that are difficult. I think it's just the jump scares that I don't enjoy. Not that I'm scared of them. I mean, I like horror films, but horror games are not something that I've ever got into. They just don't click.
I've played Resident Evil games since I was little. I don't know. And like you said, I hate horror movies. I hate anything really scary, but horror games, for some reason, I tend to like. Alan Wake. I really like games like that too. But yeah, so my next game, number 3 on my list of top games of 2024 is Balatro. That game came out in 2024. It's more of a roguelike, if anyone's ever played it. It's based off poker hands. The higher hand you get, The higher the score you get different Joker cards, you get stuff like that to kind of increase your points. It's available pretty much everywhere, and like I said, if you haven't played it, you should definitely try it. It's super addicting. I'm not even a big poker fan, anything like that, or card guy, but like I said, I played this and I was extremely addicted. It's super catchy. You can do 1 or 2 runs in a couple minutes, or a couple hands in a couple minutes, and like I said, it's just kind of a quick game to have a lot of fun with. I have it on my phone.
Do you got games on your phone?
I do have it on Steam as well, but I play it on my phone more than anything because it's just quick and easy to pick up and play, like I said, a couple games and be done with it. Arvin, I know you're also a big fan of this game. Do you have this on your list at all for the year, or no?
It is in my list. You're right. You can read me like a book. See, Balatro, I obviously saw gameplay in the internet, and I don't know. I never been like a big roguelike or roguelite, whatever the genre is. But
Yeah.
this one's a little different. You know, it's just straight up poker almost, and it's widely available. I have it on my Steam Deck. I played a lot. I'm not much of a mobile gamer, so I don't have it on my phone. I if it was in portrait mode, I would have it. I'm not a big fan of holding my phone with 2 hands. So yeah, it's also on my list. Really good game.
Hell yeah. Yeah, like you said, I'm not a big mobile guy either, but like I said, definitely if you're waiting in line, if you're waiting for food or something, it literally, you can pull it up, play a couple things in a couple minutes and be done with it. And like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's super addicting, and even if you're not a big poker guy, it gives you all the directions, it gives you all the hands, and as the more you play, you'll kind of read and figure it out which hands you get more points and all that sort of stuff. So,
And it was built by one guy.
that always amazes me when games like that, or Stardew Valley, or Minecraft. So my number 4 game on my top games of 2024, number 2, sorry, is Helldivers. Actually really enjoyed Helldivers. I know there's a lot of weird stuff surrounding Helldivers. It was released on PC, and then when it was first released, you didn't have to have your PlayStation account. Then later it required a PlayStation account, and then all the backlash, they didn't, all this stuff, and then the content was kind of lackluster for a little while, and it was getting very repetitive. But I enjoyed it. Thought it was a lot of fun. Brought the friends together, brought a lot of people together. We were all hanging out, playing the game, killing monsters. A lot of fun. Again, it's just kind of one of those games where you get together with your friends, you guys go and you can cause some chaos. A lot of crazy mischief can happen. You can just gets a little crazy. And like I said, you guys can fuck it up or you guys can succeed, and it feels really good once you guys win. So that was and again, I know there's been a lot of weird stuff surrounding it. I think it's kind of gotten a lot better since then. They've added a lot of content and more stuff. I haven't really played it too much recently, so I can't really speak on the new content. I think they added new enemies to the game as well. But like I said, I still think overall that was a really good game. You and me played that a lot. Do you have any things? I don't think that's probably on your list at all. You weren't really a big fan of that game.
Yeah, it's in my top 10, if there even is 10, the games that I played that came out 2024. It's just, that game, I had fun. I mean, it was it's a good game to pick up and you know, mess around with. You're right, but I felt repetition. I think it's what turned me off from it. It's just like you know, dropping here, eliminate enemies here, and then capture a point towards the end. I didn't get the sense of accomplishment with it. That's why it's not on my list.
Fair enough. Like I said, I thought there was some of them. Obviously, like you said, it was definitely repetitious and it felt like the same shit over and over again. But there were some times where I felt like we were struggling to get out of there, and we were lucky to make it off there alive. And like I said, I felt some of those got a good sense of accomplishment, but you don't get that same sense of, like I said, a good beaten Melania or something like that from Elden Ring, which kind of a segue into the next game, my number 1 game, which technically isn't a game, and I don't know if we have rules for this or whatever, but my number 1 for 2024, which I spent by far the most time with, is the Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erd Tree. That felt like basically a whole game. It felt like more than an expansion to Elden Ring, even though it was this obviously the exact same game and engine and everything like that. But we had a lot of fun with it. We spent a lot of time in there. I love Elden Ring. As I mentioned earlier, we love all Souls-like games. So again, I don't really have much else to say. It was a lot of fun. Having Radahn at the end again was a pretty interesting boss to fight for the end of the DLC. It was extremely challenging at first because you had to get the Shadow Fragments, or Skadoo, shadow or skidoo tree fragments that you had to get at the beginning of the DLC to eventually level up. Because yeah, when we first started that, we were getting our ass kicked till we started leveling up a little bit. Definitely spent the most time, as you mentioned. We didn't play too many games that were released in 2024, but those were my favorite, and I by far spent the most time in the Elden Ring DLC. So without further ado, Arvin, what are your top games of 2024?
Okay, let me look. I have in no particular order, except for the first one, except for number 1.
Of course.
I have Balatro, I have Black Myth. We spoke about those. It's a little basic, but Black Ops 6. Black Ops 6, it brought back a fun zombie mode. It's not what it used to be, but it's definitely fun, and I'm a big enjoyer of zombies when it comes to the Black Ops and just most of the Call of Duty titles that Treyarch makes.
Yeah,
That was
so
a lot of fun, and go ahead.
I was just gonna say a little bit of backstory. The group that I actually met you in originally kind of turned into a PUBG group, but when I first joined it, it was originally actually a Black Ops 3 custom zombies group.
Yeah, so when Black Ops 3 was popular, the dev team released the mod tools for it. Some friends of ours, some mutual friends, made a server for modifying the game, for modifying zombies in the game. Whether it's custom maps or weapons or whatever. Yeah, that's how it started.
So you guys, like I said, have been into this as long as I've known you, basically for 7-8 years, and like you said, probably before that. So
Well, it goes way back because the mutual friends, I befriended them 2011 playing Kino on Black Ops 1 and then going through the whole series of Black Ops games.
yeah, the OG maps and all that.
Big fan of Black Ops Zombies. But that's one of my top games for 2024, Black Ops 6, and it's still going. So it's been 3 maps that are out now. It's good for another year, I think, until at least the next Call of Duty comes out.
Till the next, yeah, September, October, whenever.
All right, let's see. What else do I have? I'll name one that you didn't, which is Animal Well, indie game. You might have heard of it. It's pretty big. It's a platformer 2D game. It was a lot of fun, a lot of puzzles. That's what I enjoy about it the most, just like the puzzles. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. I think we spoke about it.
I might have seen a couple of videos on it, but it doesn't ring a bell immediately.
Yeah, it just reminds me of kind of it's a super simple game. I mean, what you do is mostly jump and move left and right. So there's not, I mean, obviously the puzzles make it more intricate, but there's not a lot to the game. It's nice and relaxing. You get to hang out and, you know, you don't want to stress out and shoot noobs or whatever. You play a little Animal Well.
All right, well, what is number 1 on your list of 2024, Arvin?
My number 1. It's not a game. It's not a standalone game. It's a DLC. Elden Ring DLC. Elden Ring Shadow of the Earth Tree.
Yes.
Number 1 spot.
Honestly,
Had a lot of fun.
sorry to cut you off, but I haven't played Astrobot, so I can't speak for it. But I think Elden Ring DLC should have won Game of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Elden Ring guy. I played the game. I have 800 hours on it. I mean, it's not the most, but it's a lot considering it's a
800 hours is a lot to do anything with. So
yeah, that's also true. The game came out 3 years ago, Elden Ring. 800 hours now, but obviously the DLC boosted up those hours. I've played it every year since it came out. Throughout the year, I'll pick it up and just do a challenge run here and there.
You've done a level 1 finish, haven't you?
Yeah, I actually did beat the game at level 1. So you don't level up. You start with the level 1 character, which is the prisoner. No, not the prisoner. It's I forget the name of it, but he has a level 1 and all the stats are 10.
The deprived guy, I forget.
Deprived. I was thinking Souls, where he's the wretched.
The wretched. I think it's deprived in Elden Ring, but it might be something else. But yeah, basically the guy with nothing.
Yeah, you play as him and you modify your loadout as you can, as much as you can, and you go through the game. And it's just death after death until you eventually win it. You brute force yourself through the game. I have not done a level 1 run for the DLC, but the main game, the base game is done. I finished all the bosses, remembers bosses and everything. Yeah, that's why I would put Elden Ring DLC as my number 1. It just gave us more of what we, or at least me, already loved.
Exactly. I completely agree, and I think we've spent the most time in that game, as you mentioned, of any other game of 2024. So now, like I said, as we are about a week or so into 2025, 2024 is behind us. We got to look to the future, and we got to see what is coming forward. There's a lot of big games. We all know GTA 6 is supposedly coming out this year. We're going to exclude that because obviously that is going to be number one on both of our lists if we were to talk about it. But like I said, that is still, they say it's confirmed. They talk to the stockholders, blah, blah, blah. But we will see if it actually comes out this year. If it does, I will be surprised. I don't think it's coming out this year. Do you think it's coming out this year for sure?
If I'm being realistic, no.
Final answer, no, yeah.
Yeah, they usually have Rockstar. They usually have a delay with their games. Hopefully not. I mean, I'm praying that they don't. But like you mentioned, they had their shareholders meeting and they say that it's on track to be 2025 release. If it does come out 2025, it'll be towards the end of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more of a holiday release, which, like I said, I'm hoping. I want to play it just as much as the next, and like I said, that would be number one on both of our lists, but I want to exclude that just because everyone in the world is looking forward to that game. So, with GTA 6 out of the way, like I said, neither one of us actually believe it's coming out this year, but we will, like I said, I want to play it. We will see if it actually comes out this year. Here's hoping. But number 5 on my top games of 2025 is going to be Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I'm not a huge Assassin's Creed fan. Obviously, I've played some of the earlier ones. Black Flag is probably my favorite one, but I haven't played any of the recent ones in the last, I don't know. I played a little bit of, I played one of them a little bit, not too much. Either way, I'm just a fan of Japanese culture, art style, all that. I love ninjas. I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I love all that sort of stuff. I'm interested to see. They're also doing the 2 separate characters. They're doing like one samurai, one ninja, so you kind of get to play as both sides. So I'm honestly kind of excited. I think this might be the first Assassin's Creed game I'm excited to play in quite a few years. I don't know. Anyways, are you looking forward to this game at all? I don't even know if you like Assassin's Creed games at all.
Assassin's Creed I played a lot of in the early years of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, or yeah, it was
Brotherhood was really good.
Brotherhood,
I remember the multiplayer for that. Honestly, I feel, again, sorry to cut you off and change the subject, but I feel like the multiplayer for Brotherhood is really good, and they kind of cut that off before. Like that, you had to like kind of hide into the crowd, and other people had to find you and kill you. I really like that, and I spent a lot of time on that, and I feel like they could have kind of played on that and evolved it a little bit more to be better, but. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Arvin.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I haven't looked forward to an Assassin's Creed game recently. I mean, I haven't played the last 3. I played Origins, and that's the latest one I've played. I had fun with it, but I feel like they deviated a little too much from their original recipe.
Yeah.
So, the whole stealth thing, I'm a big stealth game enjoyer. So hopefully they bring that back, and I would imagine they would. You know, ninjas are stealthy.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. It was gonna make my top list, but I decided not to.
Number 4 on my top games of why am I having such a fucking hard time saying this? My number 4 on my list of upcoming games of 2025 is Celeste 2. They just announced that at the Game Awards. They said it's coming out this year. Cold Beer and I are actually not big fans, but we played Baldur's Gate 3 recently, and we're recent fans of the CRPG turn-based combat games. We haven't played the first one yet. We've recently both bought it on the Steam Winter Sale and have started it a little bit. We've gotten through the intro and everything, but we're going to be playing it here soon. Definitely interested. It definitely seems way more in-depth than Baldur's Gate 3 in terms of like D&D system and the role-playing or the dice roll, stuff like that. Like there's a lot more of the explaining what's going on. Hey, these rules are what's going on, where Baldur's Gate was just kind of like, hey, go fight these guys, here's some dice, you lost, now you gotta eat this troll's ear. I don't know, there's just a lot of weird stuff like that with Baldur's Gate, which, like I said, that's kind of why we enjoyed it so much, because it was really just weird and wonky and a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it, and like I said, we've never played a game like that, like a turn-based CRPG, quote unquote.
If I remember correctly, you were against it when I first offered to play that game with you.
Which, yeah, and as I just mentioned, the Game Awards, it's kind of funny because I was against playing Baldur's Gate, and I never played one of those top-down CRPG turn-based games. I was kind of opposed to it, but after it won basically swept the Game Awards last year. It won every single award, it seemed like. I was like, I guess I have to try this game at least. And like I said, if we don't like it, we could return it. And we played it and we ended up loving it. And now, like I said, we play a lot of the games. We both started playing Divinity Original Sin, which is also made by Larian Studios, which makes Baldur's Gate 3. But yeah, Celeste is made by a completely different company, and the second one looks really, really good. Again, we just started playing the first one, so we will see. Are you looking forward to Celeste 2 at all?
Yeah, I mean when they showcased it at the Game Awards, I hadn't heard of the first one yet, so it made me look into it, and it does look interesting. You know, coming off of Baldur's Gate 3, the whole D&D aspect of it looks fun, looks interesting, and it's supposed to come out this year with the early access for PC. Hopefully that doesn't get delayed and we can get to try it.
Yeah, hopefully, like I said, you and me will be playing the first one though to kind of get our feet wet and see how it is, and like I said, see how it compares to Baldur's Gate and other, like I said, D&D games. You and me have both mentioned that we want to play D&D tabletop, but just don't have like the time or the people or the space. It's a little hard to get in. It's hard to get into in real life. Like I said, if you don't have the, as I just mentioned, time, space, friends, blah, 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 quote unquote. But yeah, this is a little bit more easier to get into online. You get your party members you can create, which is actually kind of cool. You can kind of create your party, so you're not picking up characters around the village that are already pre-made and whatever. So you can kind of curate them how you want and how you want your whole party to be, which is actually pretty cool. And again, similar to how you would do it in a tabletop D&D game. Game number 3 on my upcoming games of 2025 is called Inzo. It's a life simulator. It's similar to the Sims. Me personally, I'm not a huge Sims fan. I'm not a life simulator game fan. Hello, Toby. Yeah, I'm not a huge life sim fan, but my wife is a huge fan of The Sims, and The Sims 4 has been out for years now, and I don't even know, it's been over like 10 years since The Sims 4 originally came out. But anyways, this is a much more realistic looking game. It's supposed to be a play on The Sims, kind of just a life simulator. You go out, have fun, do stuff like that. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see if this actually does come out, what type of competitor it'll be to The Sims, and if it just kind of pushes them to release Sims 5, which they announced years ago. What, like 2 years ago now? They announced Sims 5, or 3 years ago, it seems like. But there hasn't been any update on the Sims 5. They just keep releasing updates for Sims 4. Again, I don't really have much news or anything on that. It's just kind of a couple videos online if you want to look that up and check it out. Have you heard about that at all?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. You know, I agree with you. The Sims, it's a popular game. I mean, there's a reason they haven't made it. They made the Sims 5 because the Sims 4 is still alive and thriving. They keep dropping DLC for it, and if it sells, it's gonna stay the same. Why fix something that's not broken?
It's basically the exact. Sorry for cutting you off, but it's the exact same situation as the GTA 5 thing. Like you said, people are still playing it. People are still buying DLCs. Yeah, why should they upgrade?
Yeah. But a little competition is always good for the consumer. That's exciting to see.
Exactly, a new game. Like I said, because yeah, there's no other game like The Sims. Like there might be some indie games that, again, I'm not familiar with. There's not really any big games out there competing with The Sims for that type of game.
Household name.
Exactly. But number 2 on my upcoming games of 2025 is going to be Ghost of Yoti. I think that's how you say it. The sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. As I mentioned earlier, I really enjoy Japanese and samurai games and just that kind of culture and theme all around, and Ghost of Tsushima is really, really good. It released on PC about a year ago now, and it's been really well received all around. People love it. Again, if you haven't played it, you should try it. Unless you own an Xbox, then sucks to be you. Like I said, I'm a big fan of it. It's a really good story, really good open world, really beautiful. Even it was made on the PS4 years ago, and it still looks really, really good. And I know you've played Ghost of Tsushima, Arvin. Are you looking forward to the sequel?
Yeah, the sequel looks good. I mean, I spent a lot of time on the first one. I tried to platinum it. I never got to finishing the platinum, but I mean, it's a lot of fun. Something you can keep picking up and sink hours into. I'm sure this one will do just as good.
Yeah, the combat style is really, really good. Again, as we mentioned, we love Souls-like, and it's kind of Souls-like with the combat. It's not as hard, but it's definitely got like a different combat engine to it, but it's still very satisfying and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, if you love those type of games like God of War, any of those like style games,
Yeah.
you should definitely give it a try.
Especially the samurai Japan aspect to it. It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful game. And
Yes.
it's also, it's an interesting culture.
Yeah, no, like I said, it is a very beautiful game. They captured it very well. It's made by Face Punch Studios, which is the same people that made,
Infamous.
yes, I couldn't think of it, Infamous, on the PS3, which I don't know if anyone's played those games before, but again, those were all really, really good. Infamous Second Son on the PS5, or not PS5,
Yeah, I played all
PS4 was a release title for it, and again, that was another really, really good game. The number one game that I'm looking forward to this year, which we just spoke about before we started recording, is going to be coming out next month. At least the beta for it is the Elden Ring Night Rain. No surprise, as we just mentioned, we love Elden Ring, Dark Souls games, and we don't really exactly know what this game is going to be. We think it's going to be like kind of like a roguelike Souls game where you're like running different dungeons. It's going to be like a randomizer type thing. No one's really exactly sure what's going on, but again, it's more Elden Ring, more Dark Souls. It's going to be the same combat style. I'm definitely going to be down for it. I'm going to be playing it, and I'm sure we'll be playing it together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, more Elden Ring, more Dark Souls. I don't really know what more you could ask for. Like you said earlier with the DLC, it's more Elden Ring. I'm super excited. Clearly, it looks like it's in the exact same engine as the original Elden Ring. It doesn't look like they've really changed it or upgraded it as all. It's just like a different style, which again is fine by me. I think it really looks really, really good. It is still capped out at 60 frames on PC, which isn't a huge deal. It looks fine, but for PC nerds, I would really like it to be at 120. That would be nice. But anyways, yeah, like I said, that obviously is my list of top 5 games. What games are you looking forward to this upcoming year?
Okay, well, I guess I'll mention it now. Number 1 is Elden Ring Night Rain. I don't need to explain it any further. Everything you said checks out. It's just more Elden Ring. Hopefully, they don't deviate too far away from the original recipe. But
Exactly.
if FromSoft is developing, I'm playing.
Which, speaking of
No.
that, you've played Armored Core 2, which is another kind of under the radar From Software game too. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I played it. Not a lot. I did play it. That one is definitely different than the rest of their games. But
Yeah, it's not a
It's still fun.
Souls-like game, but
no, it's not. It's a mech game where you're driving a robot and destroying other robots, and it's kind of like
their version of Gundams.
yeah, exactly. Transformers, whatever. No, it's more like Gundams. You're right. It was fun. I didn't get to finish it, but hopefully I get back into it and give it another try. Another game I have here is Subnautica 2. That's supposed to be coming up in the next year. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed, but I had a lot of fun with Subnautica 1
Mm-hmm.
and the spin-off. Yeah, Subnautica Below Zero. Those
Did
are
you
fun
ever
games.
play it
They're-
in VR?
No, I just didn't get. I might have tried it actually. I don't remember, but when the game came out, it was a lot of fun. It is obviously one of those games that kind of fly under the radar for a little bit, and then everyone starts finding out that they're really good and really fun, and everyone starts buying it, and it funds the studio and funds the next projects that they have. So Subnautica 2, hopefully they learn from whatever was lacking from the first one. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I totally forgot they announced Subnautica 2, if I'm being honest with you. I never really got into Subnautica personally. I did try it a little bit. I did try it on VR too. That creeped me out. Something about being in the middle of the water freaked me out.
Yeah, ocean is scary. You're right.
Yeah, but so I've never personally played Subnautica, but like you said, it definitely got a lot of hype, and a lot of people started picking it up kind of year or two after the game has been out for a while. I totally forgot about that, so.
Well, don't you forget it, because that one is in my calendar. See, that's 1, 2, and no order, by the way.
No order.
Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I think that's the official title. See, this one is more of a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater for PS2. I think it was. Yeah, it was PS2. That game's a lot of fun. I enjoyed all of Hideo Kojima's games, and I know he's not working on this one, but this is obviously his. He wrote the thing, he directed the original thing. Hopefully they do good by him and keep it as original as it can.
Which, yeah, as you
Uh,
mentioned it, it's just a remake. So obviously he directed the original game. They're just remaking it. So
Yeah, it's just an old game with new graphics, and hopefully, I mean, we've seen that a couple times. We've seen it recently. Where did we see that? Where they're just like the Resident Evil games are getting all remade.
Silent
Hill's
Hill.
getting yeah, these are all like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games that, and it just feels like a different game. And so far, those have been pretty good. Demon Souls got a whole remake for the PS5. That was a PlayStation 3 game,
Mhm.
but that one feels good. I know it's not the same studio or anything, but I'm sure they can do it.
Demon Souls, the remake, again, I feel like we just keep
Talking about those things.
slobbering all over Souls games, but the Demon Souls remake for PS5 still looks amazing. And again, it looks better than some PC games that we run at high ultra settings. And that came out in what, 2020, 2019 on PS5 on a console, like with limited power. Like, I don't know, that still amazes me. Demon Souls looks fucking amazing, but
It's a good game.
it is.
Another one that I don't think you would expect, that I didn't even expect, but I had to think about, was Deadlock.
Deadlock.
The Valve
That's
game.
yeah, I was gonna say. Again, that's another one that didn't forget about, but is definitely under my radar. And I've gotten invited, or you invited me to the beta of it, I think actually, and I'm not still quite sure what it is. It's like
It's
Overwatch.
Yeah, it's a mix of a little bit of everything. I mean, there's minions like you would have in League of Legends. There's different characters like you would have in Overwatch, and obviously you fight team versus team and to take over the other team's point. So it plays kind of like League of Legends, but it's obviously a shooter and it's a third person. It's not a top view or anything like that. But I mean, Valve usually cooks with their games. I
That
don't
is
see why
true.
they couldn't do that. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it needs tweaks. It's still, I believe it's still active, is it not?
I believe it is. Like I said, I haven't tried playing it in a minute. I know when you first sent it to me, I think I loaded it up and started it, but I haven't messed
Yeah, I
with
got
it
to play a
since then.
couple matches. I would prefer to play it when the actual product is released and it's finished. But I think that's gonna be a little bit of a hidden gem.
Yeah, like I said, or as you mentioned before, Valve definitely cooks with their games, and they also make sure that they're running properly. Half-Life Alyx, again, I haven't been in the VR game for a while. There's probably some good games since then. At the time, Half-Life Alyx was by far the best VR game. It felt so real. You could do everything in there, and I felt like that was the standard for VR games, and it still might be. Again, I haven't played anything or if they've messed with anything. Valve definitely knows what they're doing when it comes to games. We will see.
I mean, I think they can do it. They just gotta, I mean, they're taking a little bit of everything, but
Yeah,
I usually lean towards multiplayer games. I mean, I'll play a couple games or like a couple games at the same time where it's multiplayer. So I'll play all these single player games or co-op games, and then I'll end up going back to Overwatch or League or something like that, just to kill time. So I think that's the next one that I would pick up.
Deadlock.
Deadlock, yeah.
One
I
more
have
game?
one more game, and the last game would be Death Stranding, with no surprise either.
Yep.
Yeah, Death Stranding looks good. I mean, if you can, like, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I played Death Stranding 1. I liked it. I like what Hideo Kojima does, what Kojima Productions puts out. It's been good. I mean, the first one obviously had its bumps on the road, but I think he learns from his own games, because he had the Metal Gears and he had a lot of practice with those. So that's gonna be one of my top games to look forward to. Death
Yeah,
Stranding 2.
I
It's
figured that.
confusing, and yeah, the story's all over the place, and there's a baby and then there's not a baby. But if you play the first one, you understand, and this one's obviously a sequel, so A-list actors in it is pretty cool, and the goofiness that he brings to the games is also really fun.
I think having Norman Reedus as your main character has definitely helped a lot, especially like when it first was announced. He was riding that high of the Walking Dead and everything, so it was
Yeah.
like kind of like perfect. Yeah, as you mentioned, Kojima always puts crazy weirdness in his games. Am not super familiar with his games. I've never really played the Metal Gear games. Yeah, I know, I still need to. I'm super excited, as you mentioned, for the remake, because I will definitely be playing that and trying that out. And I played a little bit of Death Stranding 1. I got about a quarter, maybe a little bit more than probably about a third of the way through the game. So again, I'm not really sure. I didn't probably get into the depths of the story and how crazy it gets and all that stuff. But definitely, like I said, just from what I've played, it is a very weird game, and as we know, he likes very long cutscenes, and he makes his games into movies basically. So once the cutscenes start, you can just kind of set your controller get down and hang out for a second and enjoy the movie. But
Yeah. Yeah, his Metal Gear Solid 4 had 9 hours worth of cutscenes, so that's more
Yeah.
than a movie there, bud.
Yeah, no, like I said, he definitely enjoys his cutscenes, and you're watching them for a while, and there's a lot of dialogue in them. But like you said, that's part of his quirks and part of why the games he makes are so good. So
Yeah, I know this is a 2025 list, but I mean anything that he's also mentioned Descent or Vicent, something like that's the name of another game that he's working on.
yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. I know there's another game that he has said that his company is working on, and I think they released a trailer or kind of like a teaser or something for it a while ago.
It was a teaser last year at the Game Awards, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought I was gonna say. I remember them announcing something else that Kojima Productions is working on, which you said that's gonna be more of like a multiplayer game, or
Yeah, they haven't mentioned much about it, but they said that he's working with Sony, and they're gonna utilize like the studios for movies that Sony has, and maybe work with the directors.
oh wow.
He just has he has a lot of sources, a lot of resources that he can use to his benefit.
Having Sony behind you is a huge benefit itself. Like I said, the fact that he's working exclusively with Sony is pretty big. So I'm excited to see. Like I said, I think he does do a lot of movie-esque type stuff. But a couple of honorable mentions I have that, again, we don't know if they're actually coming out this year or not, is Hollow Knight. Silk Song. Thank you, Arvin. I couldn't remember the name of it. But yeah, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. That has been announced 2022, I think.
Yeah, it was 2022, 2023 that it was in one of the Xbox showcases, and at the end of the showcase, Xbox tweeted out that, hey, every game that you saw, it's going to be released this year, back in 2022, 2023, whatever year it was. But game has been dead silent, no updates, nothing, and not even a screenshot of the game. And whatever we got that year is the last thing that we seen from the game. Everybody and their dog is waiting for it. So hopefully we about the game a little more this upcoming year.
And another thing you pointed out is that the host of the Video Game Awards, every year after the Video Game Awards, he posts like a little meme of a clown, the Hollow Knight
Yeah, he's done
guy.
it a couple of times. The community for Silk Song is losing their mind over not having any information about the game.
Yeah.
So they hope that it gets a mention in every studios, like every company's showcase for their games, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, or even the Game Awards. And they'll wait for a Nintendo Direct, and they'll say, oh, maybe this one, and then they'll, at the end of it, nothing gets mentioned, and they post a little a little image of the Hollow Knight wearing a clown wig and a little nose, sitting on a bench by himself, because I guess they just feel like clowns is what they're trying to say. But yeah, I mean, he didn't say anything this year. Hopefully, I mean, this is just, we're begging for crumbs at this point, but
begging for anything, just give us something. Yeah, no, like I said, Hollow Knight's another game. I feel like a broken record. I haven't finished it. I've started it. I really enjoy it. I need to finish it. And I'm also looking forward to Silk Song if they ever announce it. But my last honorable mention is Skate 4, formerly known as Skate 4. I think they've officially dropped 4, and they're just calling it Skate now, and they're going to make it, as last I heard, a live service game. And it's, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with the game right now, but I'm super excited for it. I love Skate 3 is still a hugely played game. Just looking forward to it, seeing what's going on with it. Have you played any of the Skate games? I don't know. Like I said, do you like Skate?
yeah, I mean, I was more of a Tony Hawk player. I did play Skate 1 and 2. I don't remember playing the third one. Like you said, for some reason they stopped making them, right? They stopped making all the Skate games. And recently, the most recent one that I mean, a couple years ago, they made the Tony Hawk, the remake from Epic, where they remade
1 and 2.
1 and 2 of the Tony Hawk games. That was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously those are more arcadey compared to the Skate games. Skate is straight up like almost like a simulator. But when I did play those the Skates, they were fun. I'll play them again if it comes out, hopefully this year. I will check it out.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the original Skates. I played all 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. And as I mentioned, I think Skate 3 is still like hugely played. I think it's on the Game Pass. People play it all the time. I think Skate 3 came out 2010, maybe 11.
Yeah, you're 10.
Yeah, Like I said, that's 15 years since the last game. So again, that's
An Xbox 360 title.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, like I said, I'm super excited for the game. They said it's supposed to come out. They said it like last year it's supposed to come out, maybe this year. It's another honorable mention for me. I'm super excited for it, but I think that's it. Yeah.
Looking like a big year for gaming, dude.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, 2024 was kind of a downer. Astrobot won Game of the Year, which again, I haven't played it. So I can't really say it's a shitty game, so I don't really know. But a DLC was nominated for Game of the Year. When you have a DLC, which is that speaking to how good the DLC was, or is that speaking to how bad the rest of the games of the year were? Like, I don't know.
I wouldn't take any credit away from the DLC, honestly.
Yeah, like I
was,
said,
even if you still need the base game to play it, I think it brought a game's worth of content.
No, I completely agree. Like I said, I love the DLC. And as we mentioned before, it's probably the game we spent the most time in 2024 was Elden Ring. Regardless, like I said, I think it was just kind of a lackluster year for gaming, and there's a lot of promise for this year. Like I said, if GTA 6, that will obviously skyrocket it, even if that doesn't come out. If all the games we talked about, we mentioned earlier, come out, that should be a pretty big year for gaming. So I think that's all we have for today. Going forward, this is going to try to be a weekly thing. We're going to try to upload probably on Tuesdays going forward. So if you want to keep up with us, if you want to keep up with all the news, latest gaming news, latest tech news, whatever, we discuss all tech topics, stuff like that. Be sure to like and subscribe. Like every other YouTube video, be sure to follow us on all our socials, all that stuff. But thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.